All right, what's up everybody? So you guys are pretty familiar with our budget build by now. You've seen a lot of videos and I've got it here behind me. Now, for as much as you've seen it, the one thing you probably haven't seen a lot of it is us actually towing and pulling a trailer. So we have got a trailer and I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh cool, you're towing around an empty flatbed. That's so awesome. But I am actually towing this flatbed right now to go pick up a vehicle, and just kind of worked out well to where it was like, hey, we need to do some stuff with this truck, put a trailer on it, kind of test out the 5-star tune that we have in there and test out the little hitch and everything that we got. I've basically just been driving out here in the Arizona desert, so there's really not a whole lot for you guys to see, but once I get the truck on there, I will go ahead and check back in. Well, I'm pretty stoked. I mean, I've already technically seen this vehicle before. I drove out here, checked it out, and then came back with the trailer after I worked a deal with the guy, but here it is. So, some of you guys might know what this thing is. I imagine some of you do. It's Jeep forward control. This is a FC150, and it's pretty clean for what it is. I know that sounds like a joke looking at this thing, but the rust actually is not bad, and most of these things are just rusted to the point where they're not even worth saving. This bad girl runs and drives, so that's a whole nother just step in the right direction here. I'm not working with a roller. This is an actual moving vehicle, but basically it's mostly tractor, part Jeep, mostly tractor. They're not very fast, they're not very comfortable. They are torquey, and they are obviously 4-wheel drive, and they look excellent, and they're rare. So there's a whole lot of good reasons there as to why I wanted to pick one of these up. Plus, it's been a while since I've owned a Jeep. I used to have an 84 CJ7 that I love, so this will be a new project to build, but also this will be a good thing to tow. Basically, we've got it set up on the trailer behind the 5.0, as I showed you earlier. The curb weight on one of these FC170s is around 3,500 pounds, plus an all-metal flatbed. It's a good amount of weight. It's definitely enough to feel it in the truck, so we're gonna go ahead and just get a feel for it actually driving this thing back to Phoenix. I basically got about 2 hours on the road that I've got to do now, and we're just gonna see how she pulls. Okay, so we're cruising along. Just want to give you guys sort of a quick review of how the truck feels pulling this Jeep behind it. I'm driving it basically like I've got a delivery of fine china to the Queen of England, so I'm being pretty delicate as much as I can be, at least. That being said, we've got the 5-star towing tune in here, and it feels like it puts down power pretty well. We're pulling a decent amount of weight, and you can tell it's back there. I mean, this obviously with the 5.0 with the 10-speed and even with the tune, we're not making insane torque numbers, and this isn't a Super Duty, so it's not gonna pull like there's nothing behind it. You know the weight's there. That being said, it does seem to get up and move just fine. I'm not really punching it by any means, but it feels good. The power's still there. It seems that the tune kind of keeps you in a little bit lower gears, at least for what I'm doing right now. It doesn't really like to go past 7th, which is good. Once you pick up speed some more and you start to cruise flat ground, it looks like it'll tick up into those gears, but for the most part, it does try to keep the gears low to make power. Now, one of the other things we got on this truck is the Bilstein shocks in the back, and really I didn't expect those to change a whole lot in the way that the truck performed towing anything, and in a good way it doesn't. The truck feels fine. It's not like the Bilsteins are too soft or too stiff. The back end feels about as planted as it can be, and ride's nice. There's definitely enough weight there to feel some softness in the rear, and I do have the Jeep shifted forward a bit so that there's a little bit more weight on the tongue of the trailer, just to kind of keep the back from scraping. It has a tendency to do that, but with that being said, it's not bottoming out the truck and it's not jacking up the rear end. It really, as we're driving here, the road I'm on right now has a lot of dips and curves. There's it just weaves through the desert. It's not a highway, so this little section is kind of a good test just to see how planted the vehicle feels with that weight on something that isn't perfectly smooth ground. Okay, so it's getting dark real quick, and I've been towing for a little while now. I still have a ways to go before I'm back in Phoenix, but I just want to give you guys some final thoughts on what I think of the tow tune in the truck and just how it feels. Overall, it's good. I mean, there's no complaints. The 5-star tune is peppy, the torque is there when you need it. It moves through the gears a little bit quicker. It's a little bit more firm in the shifts, so you can just kind of tell a difference, especially when you've got some weight back there. And I like it. For a lot of you guys, the tow tune, you probably aren't going to be hauling huge loads all the time. And so every once in a while, pulling a vehicle like this is great. Pulling your RV, your boat, whatever it may be, it'll work really well for that. It feels like it does a lot of justice for the 5.0 and the 10-speed. That's already a pretty good platform and a good setup from Ford, and I like it.